Both Indiana football and Indiana basketball are undefeated. That is a really good thing. That's a lot of fun. The Colts are 8-2. That's a lot of fun. We're going to have the Colts position by position report card and talk about some guys, talk about some position groups, how they are doing, and how we think they're going to continue to do throughout the rest of the season, the next 7 games in the regular season, and hopefully during the postseason. We're going to talk about IU basketball's win last night, 101-70 over Milwaukee. Who are these guys? They're sharing the ball really nicely on the offensive end, which of course they are. Because under ideal circumstances, that's what basketball players do. When things get a little bit salty during the Big Ten season, which is only about 3 weeks away, things are going to pivot a little bit, or are they? We're going to talk about that. What are the reasons to be really genuinely optimistic about this team? And what does Ken Palm say they're going to do during this season? Where are they going to finish in the Big Ten? Where are they going to finish in the regular season? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Hannah Hidalgo. Last night, holy hell, for Notre Dame, my God. Akron, I don't know who they got coaching. I don't know who they got playing. But I'm not a fan of fire them all and then sort it out. But we're about there with Akron basketball. The Zips, really not good. Last night against Notre Dame. How about don't allow Hannah Hidalgo to get 16 steals, for the love of God. Pacers, tonight against the Suns. They got to get a win. You don't get a win in this game. You come home from your West Coast trip, 1-11, 0-4 on the trip, and from 10 games under 500 after only 11 games, where's this team headed? It's not headed back to 500. It's not headed to the playoffs. You have to show that you can beat a reasonably decent team on the road in order to have any kind of substantial belief that you're going to be able to get to the postseason. This is Breakfast with Kent for Thursday. I kicked the tripod. That's how passionate and enthusiastic we are about sports in Indiana. It's Thursday, November 13th, 2025. We're brought to you by the great people at YouTube TV. I know YouTube TV right now. You know what? No ESPN, no ABC, no Disney, no FX. Kind of tough. They're going to get this done. They're standing up for you. Now me, I've paused YouTube TV. I'm going to come back to it when it's appropriate, when they've got the channels that I watch on the regular for play-by-play, meaning ESPN, when they've got that back. But I am still a YouTube TV guy. Right now, I pivoted to Fubo because I could get $35 off for 3 months each. And then I'm going to come back to YouTube TV because I think the service is better, to be honest. I think you got a better picture, you got better sound, and you have a better opportunity to kind of manage your watching experience through the manipulation of the guide. So, in the show description, as soon as this live's over, there will be a link for you to click and become a YouTube TV subscriber and get $15 off during your first month of service. How about that? Nothing wrong with that. Become a member today. The all meal members, they get a free copy of my book, Oops, the Art of Learning from Mistakes and Adventures. I'll autograph it to you. All you have to do is become an all meal deal member, and you need to DM me your address. That's it. We have some new members that we want to celebrate this morning. Ken Eschenbaugh, Chris Beckley, Rickest Mortiz, Freddie Williams, and Denny Putnam. New members, welcome to our family of sports zealots here. Make sure you got to become a subscriber, because as you become a subscriber, you become eligible to win prizes every single Monday afternoon during Inside Indiana Sports Now. We have prizes. 5 in the queue, 5 Colts jerseys autographed by either former or current Indianapolis Colts. Some of them great. Some of them maybe a backup quarterback. Well, what are you going to do? People like Riley Leonard. I got no problem with Riley Leonard. We're happy to give away one of his jerseys. All right, smash that like button. And if you want to make a donation, no big whoop. but make sure and include a comment or a question that elevates the level of discourse on the channel. All right, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts, and let's give out some grades. I love giving out grades. It's my favorite thing. Daniel Jones, the quarterback of the Colts, he gets a B+. B+ is pretty good. Daniel Jones came into this season after 5.5 years with the New York Football Giants, one season where he really had a passing grade. The other 4.5, not a passing grade, especially the half year where he asked for his release after he was benched. He was granted his release. That deserves a failing grade, right? The level of productivity that leads to a 2-8 record and a release, that you got to fail. So coming to Indianapolis, you didn't know what you were going to get. What they've gotten, the Colts have, is really good. And so he gets a B+. Now we move on. Just the last two, he would have been an A-, but the last two games, the pressure rattled him a little bit. It seemed he's got to respond better to pressure. He's got to get rid of the ball earlier. What's the phrase that pays? Joseph asks. Good question. So you subscribe to become eligible for prizes. Then what you must do is you must enter. And you can enter once per video in the comments section. The phrase that pays is go Indiana, because Indiana's rolling. You got the Colts, Hoosiers, you got Purdue basketball, you got Notre Dame basketball, you got Notre Dame football and Indiana football, both likely going to the college football playoff. And there you go. All right, at the running back position, Jonathan Taylor. What the hell kind of a grade do you think that I'm going to give Jonathan Taylor? That's an A+. Jonathan Taylor, in 10 weeks, has been the AFC Offensive Player of the Week 3 times. That's astounding. He is, I think, the favorite to win the NFL MVP. I don't think he's just the Offensive Player of the Year. I think he's the most valuable player. I think he's more valuable than Matthew Stafford. I think he's more valuable than Drake May. I'm a little bit surprised Giddens hadn't been better in that position group, but I'm not going to grade him down because Giddens isn't playing well. Why would Giddens play when Jonathan Taylor is rolling at the level that he is? All right, tight end. I give the tight end group an A, primarily because of Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren has a case to be called the best tight end in the game of football right now. And Tyler Warren, 50 catches, 617 yards, that projects toward more than 1,000 yards and somewhere around 90 catches. That's a hell of a lot of productivity from a rookie tight end out of Penn State. Tyler Warren has been everything that we expected him to be, and then maybe a little bit. How about the offensive line? I give the offensive line as a group an A-. Quenton Nelson, an A+. He's playing the best football of his career. Total health, and you see what kind of an athlete he is. Speaking of athleticism, you got Tanner Bortolini at center, who is surprisingly athletic. How did he last until the 5th round a couple of years ago in the draft? I have no idea. He's getting out, knocking guys down. He and Quenton Nelson are like a mini offensive line unto themselves that could be deployed all over the field. Post-snap, they get a little bit of a hit on somebody. They start sprinting down here. All of a sudden, they build a wall, and Jonathan Taylor takes it to the house. That's nice. Bernard Ryman, B+. Hadn't missed an offensive snap. That's the kind of reliability we want out of Bernard Ryman. Matt Gonsalves, I got him with a B-. That's not bad. A B- when I was a student at Indiana University, we had a party for B-. Then you have, who am I missing? Braden Smith. I'm giving Braden Smith a C+. Braden Smith has not been great. Braden Smith's been good enough, but not great this year. Braden Smith getting beat on the edge a little bit. Good against the run. Pass pro, not quite as good. C+, a little bit harsh, I grant you. But we got to give a couple of C's. They've lost 2 games. If they were 10-0, everybody gets an A. How about the defensive line? I got Grover Stewart with a B, Buck with an A. DeForest Buckner is playing his ass off. Kwity Paye, I got a C. I don't think Kwity Paye has made enough plays. Is line better without Kelly? It is. It is better without Kelly, and I'll give you 2 reasons it's better without Kelly. Number 1, Bortolini is 100% healthy. He's about, 8 years younger, 7 years younger than Ryan Kelly. That's a big deal. Another reason that Tanner Bortolini is excelling, and that's the tutelage by Ryan Kelly when Bortolini was a rookie. He learned what being a professional is, and Ryan Kelly helped him become the player that he is. And then here's a kind of an interesting thing. Ryan Kelly was the leader of that offensive line. As he left, there was a vacuum of leadership, and Quenton Nelson has stepped in to fill that role as the leader of that offensive line, and I think he's done a hell of a job in that role. Latu, I got with a B+. I know, 4 sacks, not 5 sacks, right? Not enough, but 2 picks. He's being asked to do a lot of things by Lou Anarumo, and most of them he's doing really, really well. Toby says, do you realistically see the current Pacers roster getting more than 3 to 5 wins this season? Yeah. I mean, they'll win. They'll win somewhere in the 20s. At some point, guys are going to get healthy, and they're going to be okay. How about, we went over the wide receivers for the offense. We gave the D-line. Let's give the wide receivers. Alec Pierce, I got with an A-. I don't know what Alec Pierce could do other than not hit his head against the turf that you would grade him down for. Best deep threat in the NFL. Michael Pittman Jr., I got as a B+. He remains really, really productive. He's not the guy in the class that you think, okay, that's who I'm teaching to. That's my guy. He is locked in every single class, and he's showing that we believe that he could one day be a great scholar. He's not that guy. But man, when called upon, he catches it, he advances it, he does what he is supposed to do. He blocks, Pierce blocks. This is a really good wide receiver group. A B+ for Pittman. Downs, a B. His productivity down a little bit this year after a really good year last year. Doolin, I got with a B. And Mitchell, A.D. Mitchell, I got with a T for trade. Gone. And now he gets to go play for the New York Jets because he broke the trust. You break trust, you got to go play someplace else. Linebackers. I got Jermaine Pratt with a B- and Zaire Franklin with a C+. Zaire Franklin gets the plus because he played his ass off during the overtime against the Falcons in Germany. He stopped the Falcons himself on that drive. A tackle for loss and then a sack. That was good work by Zaire Franklin. Quarterbacks, Mooney Ward, I got as an A+. I think he's that good. He's got to get on the field again, not off the field through his own doing, so we don't grade him down for that. That was Drew Ogletree that caused that. Randy Smith says, I say Latu has improved from last year, and you're exactly right. He has. And he's being utilized better by Anarumo than he was by Gus. Kenny Moore, I got with an A. And Sauce Gardner is an incomplete because he's only played 1 game. We'll see what he is. Cam Bynum at safety, a B+, and Cross, a B. That is the best report card at the bye week that we have given in years. Since 2020, that's our best grade. Nesting somewhere between right around a B+. Maybe just a skosh over a B+. Indiana beat Milwaukee last night. We talked about it at length during the post game. 101-70. The walk-ons have played in 3 out of 3 games. That's either really good or really bad for a basketball team. In this case, it's really good. Wilkerson, 24. Connerway, 21. Bailey, 14. And DeVries with 12 last night. Assists, a huge advantage for the Hoosiers last night over Milwaukee, 23-7. 71% of their buckets have been assisted this season. That is really good. D1 experience, you look at Ken Palm for that. They have over 3 years D1 experience for the players who are playing. That is number 1 in college basketball, and that's going to be meaningful as this thing moves forward. They're number 7 in three-point percentage at 47.5%. That's going to come down over time. Number 22 in free throw percentage, 82.1. I hope that doesn't come down. They're projected to earn a record of 22-9, 12-8 in the Big Ten. We'll see. I'll take it. If you had to like put that in your pocket right now and be guaranteed that or risk it on something better, you would put that in your pocket and you would take it. Hannah Hidalgo last night, 16 baskets last night, 16 steals, an NCAA record, 16 steals in an 85-58 win over Akron last night. They had 38 turnovers. 38 turnovers for a team. 30 steals for Notre Dame, causing a good portion of those turnovers. That is ridiculous. The Pacers, they got the Suns in Phoenix tonight at 9. They are 1-10 on the season, and the Suns are 5-1 at home, which means the Pacers are going to win. Coming back 1-11 is death. Once you hit 10 below 500, getting back to 500 is damn near impossible for a team like this who's not going to have. If Tyrese Halliburton was going to come back from the injury this year, maybe you would have a chance. Pacers, a loss tonight, they got no chance. You've got to show an ability to win on the road against a decent team. And if they can't do that, you know what? I do not agree with tanking. I don't believe the Pacers would tank. But man, I start to, as opposed to the Colts, where I'm not looking forward to this coming NFL draft whatsoever because they don't have a first-round pick, and their second is likely to come in the 50s, if not the 60s. The NBA draft in June, I'm looking forward to that. We got, 7 months until the NBA? 7 months until the NBA draft. I'm in. I'm ready. Let's celebrate some birthdays. Sean Kelly, Jimmy Barron, happy birthday, John Verhoeven, and the great Alex Coors, smiling Alex Coors, celebrating a birthday. If today's your birthday, you celebrate like hell. If it's not your birthday, celebrate somebody else. That's best done with an honest and specific compliment. Be good to each other, lift each other up one at a time. And you know what? All of a sudden, our problems just kind of fade into Bolivia. As the great Mike Tyson would once said. Instead of oblivion, he said Bolivian. Brady Smith says if the Pacers tank this season, it'll set up the organization for years, assuming they get the right guy. Sometimes, what was the guy's name? Markel Fultz, right? Not the right guy. You know, sometimes you got a number one that's not the right guy. We'll see what Kevin Pritchard does with what appears to be a very high pick in the upcoming 2026 NBA draft. The radio show starts in 7 minutes. Download the Bloomington's Voice app, listen for 2 hours, and get even smarter.